Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Maki Arai.
And I'm Makiko Tsuda.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan right here from our studio in Tokyo.
From the economy to culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
These are our topics for today. As always, we have some interesting stories to share with you, so make sure you stay with us. So let's get started. First up is Executive Insight. So Utsuda-san, what's our topic today?
Yes, today it's motorcycle helmets and in particular high-end premium helmets.
That seems like a niche industry, but who are the major players?
Yes, we have some of the big players over here. So there aren't any exact figures on market share, but these two makers, Shoei and Arai, are both Japanese brands and are said to be the biggest. And today we'll be looking at the business of Shoei.
Well, I know that in Japan, sales of motorcycles haven't been declining, so I assume demand for helmets are also weaker.
Yes, you're right. And motorcycle sales are in fact a third of what they used to be 20 years ago. But still, Shoei's business has remained relatively stable, and we have a chart that shows you why. It shows the company's international sales growth, and this is what it looks like when you add in domestic sales. So, as you can see, overseas markets account for 70% of total sales, basically offsetting any weakness in Japan.
I see. Well, with the motorcycle market in the Asian region expanding, you'd expect demand for helmets to grow too.
Yes, that seems to be the case. And in fact, the company says sales are brisk, especially in Thailand, Malaysia and Hong Kong.
Well, at the same time, though, I assume with many low-cost products, it must be difficult to capture market share.
Yes, that seems to be the case. And from the perspective of the consumer, helmets are particularly difficult to differentiate. So this time we speak with the chairman of Shoei, Masaru Yamada, about his strategy to grow the business. So take a look.
Executive Insight. A motorcyclist zips along the highway. They are employees of Shoei.
The noise isn't that loud. There's only a slight sound.
They are carrying out final tests of a soon-to-be launched product.
Noise occurs when there's just a slight gap or unevenness between parts.
Through this process, they make sure that riders enjoy the highest level of comfort and are subjected to minimal wind noise at high speeds. It is one of the reasons why Shoei boasts the biggest market share in the industry. So what drives the craftsmanship of a top-flight helmet maker? Masaru Yamada, the current chairman who has effectively led the company for the past 20 years, reveals his roadmap.
With motorcycle helmets, there are certainly different designs, but nothing that would seem to clearly differentiate one brand from another. So how do you ensure that your products stand out?
Of course, our brand logo is attached to the products, so it's easy to tell. But shape is also our signature. Our helmets have forms that are very difficult to create. They're more aerodynamic and fashionable. We focus on these aspects in addition to safety, so you can basically tell our helmets apart from others.
Inside a motorcycle goods retailer, the helmet section is lined with brands from around the world. Prices range from $50 to $500. At the high end are Shoei branded helmets.
Our products are naturally expensive. Buyers choose our helmets because they desire safety. Another reason is the style. A helmet is something you can wear on your body, so you want it to look good. Our products are designed with a meticulous attention to detail.
They showed us their newest product, which integrates safety and style.
So these are your main products.
This is selling relatively well. If you look closely, it has a visor. It moves up and down.
The visor is made by a Japanese company known for its Swans brand. Their products are also used by golfers and runners.
To be a bit particular, visors of lower-priced helmets tend to be warped. It's clear when you shine a light on them. A striped pattern appears. Prolonged wear will tire out your eyes and make you feel dizzy.
The protection offered by a helmet is said to depend largely on the materials used. We were allowed to see the manufacturing process.
This is where we shape the helmets. This is the primary material, glass fibers.
Over 1,000 glass fibers of 10 micrometers in diameter are bundled together. The product is made by Nitobo of Japan. While tougher than plastic, it also has the characteristic of being easy to mold. Several other materials are combined with these fibers. An adhesive is used to mold the material into the base shape of the helmet. The black lines are used to confirm that the fibers are pointing in the right direction. The eye-catching graphic designs are also created using a certain technique developed in Japan.
For the graphics, our biggest supplier is Noritake. The same printing technique is used for designs on porcelain.
This is Noritake porcelain?
Yes, it has its origins in porcelain making.
Noritake is a top Japanese porcelain maker. A technique used to decorate round-shaped porcelain is being applied to the graphic designs of helmets. They say it is a method that can't be automated. Attaching sheets that are less than 1 micrometer thick requires the skill of veteran craftsmen. Combining safety with design is said to be difficult to achieve.
This is for off-road bikes and can't be copied. An Italian company tried to make the same thing and took some pictures, but gave up.
It's the shape.
Yes, it's very difficult. As you can see, it has a very complex shape. As sports gear, it's very stylish, but to create a design that also ensures safety is not easy. With a shape like this, only this part will end up being tough with conventional manufacturing. This won't become crushed in a collision, but this will. It becomes a cushion, so it's safe. This is something that rivals can't easily copy.
This is a test to evaluate the impact absorption of a helmet.
That was a force of 187 Gs. The European standard is 275 Gs. So it's a pass.
Such tests are held over 3,000 times every year. Another important aspect of helmets is aerodynamics. Motorcyclists are constantly subjected to wind.
The designers work on the clay model directly and take measurements. They adjust the details to check how the aerodynamic performance changes.
Helmets are designed to minimize the wind force on riders. Even something as simple as the windshield is carefully studied.
This actually has another visor on the inside that's fog resistant. Because of that, the shield gets stuck when it's pushed up.
To prevent the shield from getting caught, it has been structured so that a spring first pushes the shield toward the front.
Small manufacturers in Japan make the tiny springs and screws. They do a really good job. They're custom made. Helmets are a culmination of all of those aspects. They may seem like simple products, but we're quite meticulous about the details. That's how we improve customer satisfaction. As a product, helmets are usually quite small, but I believe they are packed with the best that Japan has to offer.
While 70% of sales are generated outside of Japan, the company has no factories overseas. All products are made at 2 plants in Japan.
In order for us to make products that can satisfy the demands of customers, they have to be made in Japan. Most of the materials we use are sourced here. It's not that easy to do the same thing abroad.
Mr. Yamada arrived at the company in 1992. At the time, Shoei was struggling financially and had applied for assistance under the corporate rehabilitation law. Mr. Yamada, who was appointed to revive the company, took steps that many outsiders considered not aggressive enough. But he says he was driven by the desire to protect his own company with his own hands.
We've gone so far as to constantly improve the cleaning method. So helmets aren't the only thing that's evolving. By cleaning, we're always discovering new problems. I believe it's important not to rely on other people. We basically do everything ourselves. I also help out. This carpet too. We bought it at a discount store and everyone helped out. The helmet designers were especially good at laying the carpet.
Helmet designers help to lay the carpet?
The graphic designers.
By doing everything yourself, problems can be identified. Mr. Yamada says that is what leads to improvements. He shows us one example of that philosophy inside their factory.
There used to be a conveyor belt here, but we decided to use carts instead. That way, when it's cleanup time, we can move the carts and clean up the entire floor right away.
As a result, they spend less time on cleaning. What's more, trays are placed under each cart to catch leftover glass fibers. This is also to reduce cleaning times. Finally, we asked Mr. Yamada about his strategy for the future.
Is Asia one of the markets you're betting on?
One market in particular that has been steadily growing compared to 10 or 20 years ago is Asia. For example, Malaysia, Singapore and Hong Kong. The wealthy have grown in number. I believe we'll start to see the same thing in Indonesia. Sales of large motorcycles will increase, and along with that, there'll be more demand for high-quality helmets.
Even so, why do you focus solely on the premium segment?
It's an extremely niche market. But to continue sustaining our business, we don't want to put our focus on sales volumes or revenues. We want to make good products. Our aim is to become like the Hermes or Louis Vuitton of helmets.
Shifting from commodity to luxury to capture the market, and challenging global rivals with Japanese-bred craftsmanship, the company continues to test its mettle.
We believe cities are about people. Mori Building.
Traditional,
Consistent.
precise,
Speedy.
professional, innovative,
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC. Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
Together, let's generate happiness. Let's raise the world to new heights. Let's carry our dreams further. At the heart of society, Toshiba Technology. For a growing future, Toshiba. Together, let's create better healthcare. Let's develop a sustainable environment. Let's give children a promising tomorrow. At the heart of society, Toshiba Technology. For a growing future, Toshiba.
The view is almost like peering down on the star-filled night sky at your feet. It's the city at night seen from a height of 450 meters. Make unforgettable memories. City lights stretching for as far as the eye can see. Find it at Tokyo Skytree.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could do this? We make things like this possible through the power of chemistry. We're the Kaiteki Company, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
You're watching Channel Japan. Up next is an episode from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite. So, what's the topic today?
Yes, first if you can take a look over here.
Adorable, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yes, it's actually a website of a certain company and it's a clock application with images that change every minute. So you can take a look over here. This is the clock part and it changes every minute and so does the picture.
And a different child comes up.
Exactly, yes.
So who are these children?
Well, they're regular children who were chosen in an audition and the company receives hundreds of applications whenever they hold a photography event.
So do people have to pay to participate?
No, actually it's free for the amateur models and these events are held in collaboration with companies such as movie studios and apparel brands, and if you look closely you'll even see the corporate logos.
Interesting. Well, any parent would want their child photographed by a professional, so I'm sure there's lots of business opportunities by targeting the parents of the children. So we have a report on these initiatives, so take a look.
At the beginning of this year, a certain event was held in one section of a shopping mall. Parents and their children flocked to a banner with the words, "Photography Session."
Would you pick a color first?
The pictures are being taken by professional photographers. They skillfully capture the children's best smiles. Some of the parents appear more enthusiastic than their kids.
Last year, we came 8 times. We've become friends with the staff and the other models. We keep in touch through our blogs and arrange to meet them at these events.
Most of the mothers here are members of a children's modeling group called Kids Tokei Club.
Completely different. I want him to join a boys' talent agency. It's just a dream.
So what happens to these pictures?
It'll be at 8:02. You can see it for 1 month from February the 1st.
There's a reason they're told a specific time. Next to the children is a small board. A digital clock will be superimposed on it, and when the designated time arrives, their picture will appear on a certain web page. The Kids Tokei, or clock, is a web application that displays a picture of a different child every minute. Anyone can download it and use it as a clock for their computer or smartphone. The application was launched by iKids based in Kobe. Its popularity has grown rapidly, with membership reaching 250,000 in the first 3 years.
Right now, we're in the process of selecting models from the pictures sent to us by applicants from their computers and smartphones.
Looks like a model already. Cute.
Applications flood in from across the country whenever they advertise for models.
The number of applications fluctuates depending on the project, but can reach 30,000. The success rate for an apparel project is between 5 and 10%. For a movie project, it's higher, around 30%.
The photography events are held in collaboration with various companies, such as clothing brands and movie studios. Participation is generally free.
This is an apparel maker in Japan, and this one is from South Korea.
The partnering companies can set various conditions, such as asking the models to wear clothing with their corporate logos. The pictures can also be designed with corporate logos or characters at the edges. The data is provided to the parents, who may upload it to their blogs, helping to promote the companies. These events have also been held in Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, and China. Of the 250,000 members, 90,000 are based overseas.
This year, we're aiming for 40 countries and territories. In the first half of this year, we'll start with about 10 English-speaking countries, then Spanish-speaking countries, as well as Europe in general. The desire to capture smiling children is universal.
They are continually coming up with ideas to hook parents.
We're working on new content right now. It's something called a baby clock, and we're in the middle of finalizing the design.
From kids to babies. Apparel brand Barney's New York was one company involved in the kids' clock and now plans to participate in the baby clock project.
We began advertising on January the 9th. We're going to recruit applicants through the Barney's and iKids websites. We want to provide our own suggestions on how the clock shows up with the baby pictures to give it a Barney's characteristic.
Baby clock is limited to aspiring newborn and 2-year-old models. They plan to hold a massive photography event at stores nationwide in which babies will be dressed in their branded clothing.
We will be doing this as an audition, and we'll set aside about 15 minutes for each baby.
Barney's target customers are people in their 30s and 40s. But they have also begun expanding their baby offerings.
We've started putting our focus on baby products, which have been a niche category for us. We want to bring customers closer to the Barney's brand by getting them to participate and have fun in our event.
The first to recognize the promotional possibilities of events involving parents was movie studios.
There
are many events and activities for families that take place every day. We want to take advantage of them by blending in various characters and movies.
This company has been holding photography sessions timed with the release of new anime movies. Voice acting and other activities are also offered in tandem, which they say have contributed to the unprecedented success of a movie released last year, generating $25 million in revenue.
It's like planting the seeds for parents to recognize or feel a connection to our product.
The company behind Kids Clock has been working to establish partnerships with photo studios around the world. In Japan, they've teamed up with Studio Alice, which has 450 branches nationwide.
This is cute. Do you want to try this on?
Models for Kids Clock can be photographed at Studio Alice branches around the country. The studio is given the right to utilize the Kids Clock web content.
About 10 times for Kids Clock.
The photo studio says it has expanded business during low seasons when there are few events, such as graduation ceremonies, that push up demand for professional picture taking.
We mainly take pictures for special events like birthdays and the start of school. Kids Clock is helping to create new demand. It creates a new excitement.
Capturing the precious moments of childhood. Pointing the lens on that desire of parents everywhere may offer the picture-perfect business opportunity.
Well, children grow up so fast, so I guess it's really important to take as many pictures as you can while they're young. And getting a professional to do that must be really great.
Yes, I think many parents would agree. And also an entertainment production company is actually involved in the auditions, and apparently it's a gateway for anyone wanting to become an actor or a model.
Well, I guess it's also a good way for production companies to find that next big star. And after the break, we bring you an episode from Industrial Heritage.
For Earth for Life, Kubota.
One day has finished, and one new day has started on somewhere in the world. Kubota supports every moment somewhere out in the world. By the mechanization of agriculture, by the maintenance of water infrastructure, by the latest environmental engineering. We support a prosperous life for humans while protecting the environment of this beautiful Earth. Food, water, and the environment link the world. Kubota.
Mitsubishi Electric is helping to change the environment for the better around the world.
Green subway systems in India.
Green solar power systems in Singapore.
Sistem AC ramah lingkungan di Indonesia.
Eco changes for a greener tomorrow. Mitsubishi Electric.
Because we believe cities are about people. Mori Building.
SG Holdings began as a delivery company in Kyoto in 1957. We have grown to provide a wide variety of key business services, including logistical support, all across Japan. Reliability and achievement have defined and distinguished us on the Japanese business scene. With heartfelt bonds that connect us to each and every one of our customers. The passage of time has seen our sphere of operations expand from Japan into Asia and across the globe. We will continue to strive to link up people while supporting businesses worldwide. We will also create new value that contributes to a brighter and more expansive future. We make it our mission to connect people and companies around the world. SG Holdings.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next, we bring you an episode from Industrial Heritage.
Yes, this time we bring you the second half of a report on Nikko. And just a quick recap. Nikko is about 130 kilometers north of Tokyo and is known for its many historical sites and natural scenery.
Also very popular among tourists. And I imagine Nikko Toshogu Shrine is the image that most people around the world have of Japan.
It could be, yes. And in fact, the Michelin Green Guide has given Nikko a 3-star rating, which just shows how highly regarded it is as a destination for foreign tourists.
Nikko is one of my favorite places in Japan, and I went there twice last year.
Did you?
The beautiful weather, the beautiful nature, and the Nikko Toshogu Shrine is also nice. And I also went to take pictures at the Kanaya Hotel, one of the oldest hotels in Japan.
Yes, and that's exactly where we're going to visit today. It's one of Japan's oldest Western-style hotel in Nikko. Take a look.
The Nikko Kanaya Hotel, one of the first Western-style hotels in Japan, has been welcoming guests since the late 1800s. The spacious interior was designed to appeal to the tastes of foreign visitors on extended vacations. The hotel also became an international melting pot. Its history begins with the Meiji Restoration in the late 1800s. Foreign diplomats and businessmen who came to Japan flocked to Nikko for respite from the hot Tokyo summers. As Japan's first summer resort, it became a place where people of different cultures and backgrounds converged.
So people used to sit here and talk?
It was said that the entire foreign ministry was here in the summer.
Carefully preserved films show the interactions of guests and possibly diplomacy being conducted against this elegant backdrop.
The hotel played a very big role. Foreign diplomats and entrepreneurs stayed here and entertained themselves at Okunikko.
This was also the place where fly fishing, an import from the West, arrived in Japan. The local economy was enriched by the new visitors, but in the background, a hotel war was brewing. In Industrial Heritage this time, we explore the summer resort of Lake Chuzenji and the little-known history of the area's hotel boom. Mount Nantai in Tochigi Prefecture. At its foot is Lake Chuzenji. Covering a total area of 25 square kilometers and located at 1,269 meters above sea level, It is the highest altitude large-scale natural lake in Japan. As temperatures remain low even during summer, it has been called a natural refrigerator. Hearing that this quiet lake was once an international watering hole, we visited a building where memories of those heady times remain. Built in 1928, this is a villa of the Italian ambassador at the time. Beside the lake are numerous residences of foreign embassies, where officials are said to have held extravagant parties.
At the time, Lake Chuzenji was called the Summer Foreign Ministry, and officials would actually engage in diplomacy while vacationing. There was no electricity and there were no roads for cars. Despite being an extremely inconvenient place, many villas were built here. The biggest reason is the view, which is said to look like Lake Como in northern Italy. It looks so much like it.
Wow, so this is the view?
You can see the mountains beyond. It's similar to the view of the Swiss Alps from Lake Como. In the mid-1920s, traveling between Italy and Japan wasn't easy. Here, the Italian diplomats would think of home.
So they come here and feel a bit of nostalgia.
Yes.
These are very beautiful chairs.
They've been here since the beginning.
These? They're originals.
We've kept them as they were originally.
Wow, really? So people sat here and had all sorts of conversations?
I imagine so. I believe many foreign ministry officials were entertained here.
It's like slipping back in time. The view is the same as back then, and these too. This must have been a very lavish place at the time.
Yes. Many foreign residents of Japan are said to have considered this an ideal resort.
So how did people from overseas spend their vacation here in the early 20th century? This is the Nikko City Public Library. Records of people's lives in those days are carefully preserved here.
This is a 16mm film of Lake Chuzenji in 1929. It was shot by a man called Hans Hunter.
1929 was the year of the Wall Street crash, but shown here is a world still unaffected by the coming panic. This is Lake Chuzenji about 80 years ago. The foreign residents are seen enjoying their summer holidays. There also appear to be ambassadors and diplomats with their families. What's more, a leisure activity said to have been imported into Japan. Fly fishing, a Western style of fishing. It was said to be a favorite pastime of the royal family in England. A group of fly fishing enthusiasts established an organization called the Tokyo Angling and Country Club. This members-only club is said to have been more than just a gathering of fly fishers. To find out more, we visited a certain place.
I can almost see it. That must be it. It seems like a camping area.
The Tokyo Angling and Country Club was set up at Lake Chuzenji in the mid-1920s. This is the rest area.
Hello. I'm Rina Uchiyama.
This is the rest area for members built in 1927. Makoto Ito oversees the property while living here, a responsibility he took over from his late father.
It's a bit messy, but please come in.
Wow, so many stuffed animals.
They're from the early days. Since this club was for fly fishing, they made lures. And so they use the feathers.
Wow.
They use the breast feathers of a mountain bird.
Some sections are entirely bare. This club was the idea of an entrepreneur born to Japanese and British parents.
This is Hans Hunter.
Hans Hunter was an entrepreneur who contributed greatly to the modernization of Japan, including developing mines in the Kyushu region. This club was built by Hunter as a place where foreigners and Japanese could socialize in Nikko. The members wear a who's who of the era. Among the original members, Koyata Iwasaki, the fourth-generation president of the Mitsui Zaibatsu, and Takaki Kato, a future prime minister of Japan. The names of imperial family members and nobles are also listed. But they say the purpose of the club wasn't really to enjoy fishing.
One reason to become a member was to get your name recognized. Another reason may have been to socialize with others, to further your business or build connections.
A river nearby the rest area where foreign residents are said to have fished remains as it was back then. As more foreign officials and businessmen arrived at Lake Chuzenji after the birth of the Kanaya Hotel, organizations such as this fishing club served as a bridge for diplomacy. To better understand what attracted so many to Nikko, we decided to ask a well-known local fisherman to teach us the ropes.
The best angle is between 10 and 2 o'clock.
10 and 2 o'clock?
Just in between.
They swam away again. This is hard. Probably even if the fish comes closer, I'm not sure if my bait will reach it. I need to start there.
Fly fishing is not simply about catching the most fish. We learned that it's about cultivating a relationship with nature and the seasons, and enjoying the passage of time. Hans Hunter himself is said to have stayed at the Kanaya Hotel and nearby villas and fished here. With such attractions, it's not hard to understand why Nikko became an international melting pot. Another reason why Lake Chuzenji lured many in the foreign community was the development of the city at the foot of the mountains. From the late 1800s to the mid-1920s, the Kanaya Hotel and competitors were engaged in an intense battle for foreign customers. The Kanaya Cottage Inn, which Zenichiro Kanaya, the founder of the Kanaya Hotel, set up, was far from a first-rate facility. So in 1888, he opened a bigger Western-style hotel with 20 guest rooms, the Kanaya Hotel. Soon, a slew of hotels sprung up in the once sleepy town of Nikko, sparking an intense battle for customers. The Kanaya Hotel's founder faced an unprecedented crisis. The eldest son, Shinichi, describes how his father reacted when seeing a rival hotel.
As my father led me through the gates, I was impressed by the brightly burning lamps. My father was lost in deep thought. Now that so many big hotels like these are rising up in this area, I may have to return to the Toshogu Shrine. You should go to Tokyo and seriously study English. Then help your father to restore the declining Kanaya business.
So saying, Zenichiro enrolled his son at a school in Tokyo.
At the time, going from Nikko to a school in Tokyo was like going abroad. But he wanted his son to learn English because of the many foreign guests.
Zenichiro did not shy away from the threat posed by rival hotels. In 1893, the main building of the Nikko Kanaya Hotel was opened. His plan was to beat competitors on scale. The hotel covered an area of 10,000 square meters, and the number of rooms was increased sharply to 30. The kitchen was also equipped with the latest gadgets. And in 1901, he opened a new annex. Zenichiro's son, Shinichi, who took over the business, followed up with a series of innovations to win back customers from rivals. He installed a hydropower generator. Every room was equipped with a steam heating system, unheard of in the early 20th century. The quality was such that it can still be used today. He also set up an ice skating rink for the foreign guests, again unprecedented in Japan. It became a major attraction and helped to grow the hotel's foreign clientele. And as the First World War erupted in 1914, he traveled to Yokohama to buy a Ford car from a foreign resident who was leaving Japan. There was a reason for doing so. Between the hotel in the city area and Lake Chuzenji was a well-known steep path called Iroha Hill. But the only way to travel was by a sedan chair or rickshaw. So Shinichi decided to use the car to transport hotel guests. He traveled to the United States to negotiate directly with the president of Ford Motor Company and purchased 14 cars. Two years later, he set up the Nikko Automobile Company and began services between the city area and the lake, making the trip more convenient for hotel guests. By always looking into the future and capturing the hearts of customers by constantly innovating, the Kanaya Hotel emerged victorious in the hotel wars. And now, there's something else that's delighting the guests.
Well, it looks very beautiful, very traditional, and we like the sculptures, the dragons, the birds, and the entrance is just beautiful. So we enjoy it very much, just the first impression.
At the entrance, wood carvings of dragons and lions. They are actually inspired by a certain place. The Nikko Toshogu Shrine. Since the founder Zenichiro was once a performer here, the carvings are meant to carry on the spirit of peace to which the shrine is dedicated. A renowned work by Jingoro Hidari of a sleeping cat. And at the Nikko Kanaya Hotel,
there's a sleeping cat in this hotel too.
So there's one here as well. I've heard about it. This must mean that there's peace here, just like the Nikko Toshogu Shrine. I didn't notice it when I came in. It's enjoyable making these discoveries.
there are other enjoyments of walking through the hotel. This white handrail was originally a brown color, but after the end of the Second World War, the handrail was confiscated by the US military and painted white.
This alone has a lot of history.
A slice of history recorded silently by the hotel.
Frozen in time, the Nikko Kanaya Hotel continues to welcome guests to this day while revealing the secrets of its past.
140 years have passed since the founder first opened the hotel doors. Its history is also the history of modern Japan's quest to embrace the outside world.
Very interesting, isn't it? The ice skating rink and American car to pick up the guests. Back then, it must have been really rare and very innovative ways to attract the people.
No, very creative, wasn't it? And the second generation owner, Shinichi Kanaya, must have been considered a great businessman.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so join us again next week.
Through its World Heritage educational programs, Panasonic is teaching children the importance of protecting the environment. By supporting the conservation of World Heritage sites and providing environmental education, Panasonic is helping the next generation to achieve a sustainable lifestyle.
Panasonic.
Mitsui and Company.
Hey, look at this. They're building a huge steel plant with Kobelco technology.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. They can make iron with incredible speed. What once took 8 hours can be done in just 10 minutes.
Wow, the Japanese are incredible. The country of karate.
Ha! 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 Karate has nothing to do with it.
True. The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Trading card games transcend generations as well as borders. Trading card games will unite the world. However, the possibilities do not simply end there. Trading card games combine the different forms of entertainment, and fun will link the world as one. Bushiroad.
Because we believe cities are about people. Mori Building.
Channel Japan. Your source for the voices and views of people and businesses across Japan. The latest reports on Japanese companies, culture, and technology. Find out what's happening on the ground. Every week, direct from Tokyo, Channel Japan.